Right, hello there, welcome to the show. Let's talk about something cheerful, shall we? Something light, something breezy. The impending, ever-present threat of global thermonuclear annihilation. It's a topic that just screams fun family viewing, doesn't it? Today, we're counting down the top 10 countries with nuclear warheads. Yes, that's right, we're ranking the members of the world's most exclusive and terrifying club. A club whose only entry requirement is the ability to turn a city into a glass parking lot. It's like a very, very high-stakes country club, except the golf course is the entire planet and the 18th hole is, well, let's not think about that. Throughout this video, we're not just going to throw numbers at you like some deranged accountant with a doomsday fetish. No, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. We'll explain the number of warheads each country has stockpiled, which is a frankly insane thing to even have to say. We'll also be looking at their delivery systems, the missiles, the bombers, the submarines. Think of it as a morbid pimp my ride, but instead of adding a fish tank, they're adding the capacity to end civilization as we know it. We'll look at the specific missile types, from the chunky land-based ones to the sneaky submarine-launched ones. So buckle up, or don't. Honestly, in the grand scheme of things, a seatbelt might feel a bit optimistic by the end of this. We're gonna take a calm, rational, and definitely not panic-inducing look at the arsenals that hold the world hostage. We'll start with the biggest players, and work our way down the list of countries that could, if they had a very, very bad day, press a very, very big red button. It's going to be educational, and terrifying. Mostly terrifying. Let's begin. Kicking off our list at number 1, with a truly breathtaking collection of world enders, is Russia. Of course it is. Russia possesses the largest nuclear arsenal on the planet, with an estimated inventory of around 5,580 nuclear warheads. Now to be clear, that's not 5,580 slightly too spicy jalapeno poppers. That's 5,580 individual devices capable of creating a new sun where your favorite coffee shop used to be. About 1,710 of these warheads are considered deployed, meaning they are sitting on missiles or at bomber bases, ready to go at a moment's notice. It's the geopolitical equivalent of sleeping with a loaded shotgun under your pillow, except the shotgun can obliterate a continent. Their delivery menu is extensive, a real smorgasbord of destruction. They have the classic land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles, or ICBMs. Think of the RS-24 Yars, a mobile missile that can be launched from a truck, making it devilishly hard to track. It's like a food truck, but instead of tacos, it serves up existential dread. Then there's the R-36 M2, which NATO lovingly nicknamed the Satan II. Yes, Satan. When the people whose job is to plan for war call your missile Satan, you've officially crossed a line. And for a touch of aquatic horror, they have the Bulava submarine-launched ballistic missile, ensuring that even from the depths of the ocean they can say a very loud, very final hello. Coming in at a close second, proving that the Cold War spirit of one-upmanship is alive and well, is the United States. The US holds an estimated 5,044 nuclear warheads. Again, a number that is both factually accurate and morally incomprehensible. Of these, around 1,670 are deployed and ready for use. It's a bit like having over 5,000 tubes of the world's strongest hot sauce. You know you'll never use them all. You hope you never have to use any of them, but you absolutely refuse to let your neighbor have more than you. It's the ultimate form of keeping up with the Joneses. If the Joneses were a massive Eurasian land power with a penchant for shirtless leaders on horseback. The American nuclear triad is a three-pronged approach to ensuring they can retaliate from anywhere. For the land-based option, you have the LGM-30G Minuteman III ICBMs, sitting patiently in silos across the Midwest. They're basically the country's angriest prairie dogs. From the sea, the Ohio-class submarines carry the Trident II D5 missile, a weapon so powerful and precise it's terrifying. And from the air, bombers like the B-2 Spirit can deliver a variety of nuclear gravity bombs like the B-61. The B-61 has a feature called Dial a Yield, which allows you to choose the size of the explosion, which is just a choice. It's like a dimmer switch for the apocalypse. Are we feeling end a city, or just end a particularly stubborn neighborhood today, Gerald? In third place, we have China, a country that for years maintained a relatively modest arsenal, at least by superpower standards. But modest is a fast receding word in their nuclear dictionary. China's stockpile is growing rapidly, with current estimates placing it at around 500 warheads. Now 500 is obviously a lot less than 5,000, but they are adding to it faster than anyone else. It's like showing up to a potluck where Russia and America brought giant overflowing vats of chili, and China just brought a small but intensely spicy dish that they are actively adding more peppers to while staring everyone else down. The Pentagon believes their arsenal could exceed 1,000 warheads by 2030. China is also modernizing its delivery systems to complete its own nuclear triad. Their land-based arsenal is formidable, featuring solid fuel missiles like the DF-31 and the newer, longer-range DF-41. But the real workhorse is the older, liquid-fueled DF-5, a silo-based giant. For their sea-based deterrent, they have the JL-2 submarine-launched ballistic missile, carried by their Jin-class submarines. And while their nuclear-capable bomber fleet is still developing, it's a clear priority. China's official policy is one of no first use, which is comforting, I suppose. It's like a person holding a grenade saying, "Don't worry, I won't pull the pin unless you pull yours first." Reassuring, but you're still acutely aware of the grenade. Ah, France. Coming in at number 4, bringing a touch of European flair to the business of mutually assured destruction. France currently possesses around 290 nuclear warheads, all of which are considered deployed and operational. There's a certain efficiency to that, isn't there? No dusty warheads in storage. Every single one is polished, prepped, and ready to defend the honor of the Republic, and more importantly, the sanctity of its cheese and wine production. France has a fiercely independent nuclear doctrine, having developed its force de frappe, or strike force, outside of NATO's integrated command. It's the strategic equivalent of smoking a Gauloise and shrugging nonchalantly at global politics. Unlike the top 3, France has streamlined its arsenal. They've dismantled their land-based missiles, focusing entirely on sea and air delivery. The backbone of their deterrent is the M51 submarine-launched ballistic missile. These are carried by their Triumphant-class submarines, with the policy of having at least one submarine on patrol at all times, hidden somewhere in the vastness of the ocean. It's the ultimate game of hide-and-seek, with catastrophic consequences for the loser. For the air component, their Rafale fighter jets can carry the ASMPA missile, a medium-range air-to-surface cruise missile with a nuclear warhead. It's their final warning shot before the big stuff flies, which is a bit like getting punched in the face as a final warning before you get punched in the face by a much larger person. Crossing the channel, we arrive at number 5, the United Kingdom. Britain's nuclear arsenal is the smallest of the 5 officially recognized nuclear weapon states under the Non-Proliferation Treaty, with an estimated total of 225 warheads. However, in a move that feels distinctly counterintuitive, the UK recently announced it was raising the cap on its stockpile to 260 warheads. It's a strange decision, like being on a diet and deciding to celebrate by buying a bigger pair of trousers for the future. Of these, they typically have about 120 operationally available, with no more than 40 deployed at any one time on their submarines. The UK's deterrent is entirely sea-based, a concept they call continuous at-sea deterrence. This is a fancy way of saying they have a submarine with nuclear missiles somewhere in the ocean, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, ever since 1969. It's the longest-running, most expensive, and most terrifying stage play in British history. The entire system relies on their 4 Vanguard-class submarines. Here's the kicker, though. The missiles they carry are the American-made Trident II D5S, which they acquire through a leasing arrangement. So Britain's independent nuclear deterrent is, in fact, dependent on the Americans for the missiles. It's like insisting you're an independent adult while your dad still co-signs your lease and lends you his car. Now we move into the part of the list that makes regional experts break out in a cold sweat. At number 6 is Pakistan, with an estimated arsenal of around 170 nuclear warheads. Pakistan's nuclear program is explicitly and single-mindedly focused on its neighbor, India. This isn't about global power projection, it's about the world's most dangerous neighborhood dispute. Their arsenal is believed to be the fastest growing in the world, a fact that does absolutely nothing to calm anyone's nerves. The primary doctrine is to deter what they see as India's conventional military superiority. It's a terrifyingly logical yet deeply unstable strategy. Pakistan has developed a diverse and robust delivery system, perhaps to ensure that no matter what, they can get a weapon to its target. They have a whole family of solid-fuel, road-mobile ballistic missiles named after historical Muslim conquerors, which is not subtle. These include the short-range Ghaznavi and Abdali, the medium-range Gauri, and the longer-range Shaheen series, including the Shaheen 3. They also have ground-launched and sea-launched cruise missiles, like the Babur, which can fly low to evade radar. It's a comprehensive toolkit for a very specific and very scary job. And right on Pakistan's heels at number 7 is India, with an estimated 164 nuclear warheads. India's nuclear posture is primarily a deterrent against China, but also of course against Pakistan. It's a three-way standoff where everyone is pointing a gun at everyone else, which is, honestly, a recipe for a very messy outcome. India, like China, maintains a no-first-use policy, which is, again, a nice thought. But in a crisis, policies can change faster than a politician's opinion. India's program began in earnest after its 1962 war with China, viewing the bomb as the ultimate guarantee of its sovereignty. India is also working to complete a nuclear triad. Its land-based systems are the most developed, centered on the Agni series of ballistic missiles. The Agni V is an intercontinental ballistic missile with a range that can reach all of China. They also have shorter-range missiles like the Prithvi 2. For the air, fighters like the Mirage 2000 and Rafale are believed to be adapted for nuclear delivery. The sea-based leg is the newest component, centered on the INS Arihant, a domestically built nuclear-powered submarine capable of launching the K-15 Sagarika missile. It's a slower development than their rivals, but the direction is clear: more bombs, and more ways to deliver them. At number 8, we have the international community's worst-kept secret, Israel. Israel has a long-standing policy of nuclear opacity or ambiguity, which is a fancy way of saying we won't say we have them, but you should absolutely, positively assume that we do. They neither confirm nor deny the possession of nuclear weapons. It's the geopolitical equivalent of a person whistling nonchalantly while trying to hide a very obvious bomb-shaped object behind their back. Based on intelligence estimates, Israel is believed to possess somewhere around 90 nuclear warheads. These warheads are thought to be deliverable by a variety of means, creating a de facto nuclear triad. The most well-known component is their Jericho series of ballistic missiles. The Jericho 3 is believed to have a range that could cover the entire Middle East and beyond. It's also widely assumed that their fleet of German-built Dolphin-class submarines have been modified to launch nuclear-armed cruise missiles, giving them a secure second strike capability. Finally, it's believed that fighter jets like the F-15 and F-16 could be used to deliver nuclear bombs. It's a powerful, undeclared arsenal designed for one purpose: ensuring the state's survival in a hostile region. And finally at number 9, or is it 10, we'll get to that, we have the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or North Korea, the country that puts the rogue in rogue state. Estimating their arsenal is notoriously difficult, but experts believe they have produced enough fissile material for between 30 and 60 nuclear weapons, and have likely assembled at least a few of them. Unlike Israel's quiet ambiguity, North Korea's strategy is the complete opposite: maximum volume. They test their missiles, parade them through Pyongyang, and talk about them constantly. It's less of a deterrent and more of a desperate, terrifying scream for attention and legitimacy. Their missile program has made shocking advances. They now possess a range of ICBMs, including the Hwasong-15 and the truly massive Hwasong-17, dubbed the Monster Missile, both of which are theoretically capable of reaching the entire United States. They also have a whole host of shorter-range missiles, like the solid-fuel KN-23, which are mobile and hard to intercept. They claim to be developing submarine-launched missiles and tactical nuclear weapons as well. The big question remains their ability to miniaturize a warhead to fit on these missiles and have it survive re-entry. But given their track record, it would be foolish to assume they can't. So, you might be asking, Krell, you said top 10, but you only listed 9 countries. What gives? Did you run out of fingers? And that's a fair question. The simple, and frankly quite relieving answer is that as of right now, only these 9 countries are confirmed or widely believed to possess nuclear weapons. There is no number 10. South Africa is the only country to have developed nuclear weapons and then voluntarily dismantled them, which is the kind of sane, rational behavior that seems downright alien in this context. Other countries like Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Ukraine inherited them after the Soviet Union collapsed, but gave them back to Russia. However, the list of countries of having programs, or that develop them if they chose to, is a source of constant global anxiety. Iran is the most prominent example, with its nuclear program being a major point of international contention for years. The concern is that if Iran gets the bomb, it could trigger a cascade of proliferation in the Middle East, with countries like Saudi Arabia and Turkey potentially seeking their own. Other technically advanced nations like Japan, South Korea, or Germany have the know-how to build a weapon relatively quickly, but have chosen not to under the US nuclear umbrella. The line between 9 and 10 or 11 or 12 is a thin and fragile one. So there you have it. A whirlwind tour of the 9 countries that hold the fate of the world in their hands. It's a sobering thought, isn't it? That the collective history, art, and achievement of humanity could be erased because of a political miscalculation or a technical malfunction in a missile silo in the middle of nowhere. The numbers are staggering, the technology is terrifying, and the logic behind it all is a deeply precarious tightrope walk of deterrence theory. We've built a global security system that relies on the promise of unimaginable violence to keep the peace. It's like trying to prevent a house fire by filling every room with gasoline. What could possibly go wrong? The existence of these arsenals is arguably the single greatest existential threat we face. It's a problem so huge it's easy to ignore in our day-to-day lives. We worry about bills, about traffic, about what to watch on TV tonight, all while thousands of weapons, each many times more powerful than the bomb that destroyed Hiroshima, sit waiting. Understanding the scale of the problem, who has what, and the immense danger it poses, is the first step. It's not a cheerful topic, but it's a fundamentally important one. Because the less we think about it, the more we cede control to the handful of leaders who have their fingers on that proverbial button. Thank you for sticking with us through this uplifting journey. I hope you found it as informative as it was profoundly unsettling. If you found this video informative, don't forget to follow and subscribe for more content like this. We promise the next topic will be slightly less likely to induce a panic attack. Maybe, no promises. Stay safe out there. Or as safe as you can be on a planet armed to the teeth.